It's a good intro.
Almost threw up right there.
Don't do that. Don't do that on camera. Everyone, welcome back to the show. Quick disclaimer. Very long day. We're supposed to do 5 videos. We are currently done with 2. So, and we're about 9 hours in right now. So anyway, we are losing light. We do apologize. We have to adjust the camera and shit. I don't know. That's the white balance. White balance?
I'd call it black balance.
Aperture.
But I don't know.
Aperture. I don't.
Yeah, twist rate or. Oh,
so,
yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna get into the Knights Armament QDSS NT4. This is the OG NT4 OG Mark 18 suppressor. That's what we're gonna be talking about today. It's fascinating because you will notice I just said the OG, and yet it's kind of the new, not kind of, it's like the new can for the U.S. Marine Corps.
I know, which is
very
baffling.
fascinating. So we will talk about it and try to come to some conclusions on why that is the case. Before we jump into all that, just a couple of quick things that you should know. Our channel is, we don't monetize it as well as we probably potentially could and should, but we pay for this thing by keeping the lights on with real estate. Real estate is what we do, the 1911 Syndicate. We help cool dudes like you, and ladies, actually. We do have some lady clients, but mostly dudes, as you might imagine. But we help people out all over the place. Land to shoot on is not really something we're particularly interested in.
Unless you have money, you got some scratch, we'll help you with land to shoot on.
Yeah, but a lot of it. Okay.
If you work at Wendy's, I'm sorry, you're not getting land to shoot on.
No. So anyway, there's that. Patreon exists to also help the channel. If you'd like to kick us up a couple bucks, that's fine. We do some exclusive behind-the-scenes stuff, Q&As, all that kind of stuff. Beyond that, ammo for this video.
That was shot through this can.
Yeah.
Would be from US Brass House.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, guys, we have an ammo sponsor, which means we're actually doing something well with
deal.
this whole thing.
Big deal.
Dude,
Big
when
deal.
we landed it, I was like,
The heavens parted.
It alleviates a lot of stress, and we just want to thank the guys at US Brass House. Use our code 1911 Syndicate, all underscored, to get $20 off per case. You order 5 cases, you're going to get $100 off total. See that quick math?
That is good math.
Right? But all the ammo shot through this can was from US Brass House.
Yeah. So,
thank you guys.
There's that. Finally, relationship with Knights Armament. Nothing. Well, Knights Armament Direct, absolutely nothing. So yeah, there you go. I guess that's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
You know. So the sorry, excuse me, everyone.
What the shit?
I just I was working on a Cliff Bar right before we started filming. It decided to back up on me. So anyway, the can was paid for, and I'll maybe tell you guys later kind of what the price of the can is, because it's kind of baffling. So anyway, we will get into it, guys. As with all things related to Knights Armament, it's very hard to find information. It's very hard to find information. So Knights and HK are 2 companies that we kind of lump into the same category, which is everything they make based on military requirements and contracts, right? And requests that are coming from particular units, whatever that may be, right? So the NT4 is no different, right? Because Knights really does not make civilian products. They are not interested in it. We do get access to some Knights products, but I would not say we are their focus as a company. It is hard to get information because there's a lot of stuff that's just not released based on certain contracts, and it kind of is what it is, you know? So we are left to draw some of our own conclusions and do some of our own research. Let's get down to it. So the QDSS NT4 recently won the U.S. Marine Corps contract, and it's very fascinating. So just because this is not secret information, so you can look this up, but $25.6 million contract over the next 6 years.
I just don't get it.
Well, I'm going to try to get into why.
Yeah,
I think. Because I think you have to look at it and you have to understand what the military is interested in when they're looking at suppressors. And because it's different than what we as civilians often look at.
Good job.
So we will get into that. But I think one thing that is pretty cool about that is I saw someone break down, I think it was on... man, there's a site that does like the releases that they advertise. They talked about the contract and shit. Blanking on the name of it. They're a big site. You would know them if I said the name, if I think of it later. But anyway,
hey guys, it's been a long day. Throw us a bone.
They were kind of crunching the numbers. They're like, okay, based on an average prediction of what that can would cost, and then what the contract is for, that would seem to imply that over the next 6 years, virtually everyone in the Marines is going to be running NT4s, which is kind of cool. Because it's like, hey, everyone's going to be running suppressed N4s by the end of this contract.
As they should.
Don't take that as the gospel. I'm just saying, based on some rough math, it would seem like the Marine Corps is going to be pretty well outfitted with NT4s by the end of this. This, of course, will mean that NT4 is going to be very hard for civilians to get. They're already hard for us to get, and it's only going to get worse, and they're only going to get more expensive. So the NT4 is not new. It's a 25-year-old suppressor, which means this is dated technology for sure. But it is the historically correct suppressor for the Mark 18. So let's talk about kind of why we are interpreting that this was picked up for the contract. So first of all, materials are surprisingly difficult to figure out exactly what this thing's made from. My best estimate, just based on looking up stuff, is a combination of stainless and Inconel.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, but I could not seem to really find a definitive answer on that, and sometimes you just run out of time to keep digging through the interwebs. The weight is of note. Would you call that a lightweight suppressor?
She's a heavy bitch.
Yeah, she's a heavy.
She's a heavy bitch.
She's a heavy girl. So
yeah, as is most Inconel stuff, right?
Yeah. So to put it in perspective, though, so 22 ounces, a Sandman S, 17.7 ounces. Sandman S is a heavy can.
Yeah. Well,
CGS Helios, 19 ounces. So that's heavier.
Wait, what is this?
22.
What the shit?
Yeah, 22 ounce.
Oh.
So like, it's a heavy can.
I'll be completely honest, when you're talking about numbers, I was cold and thinking about how cold I was.
Yeah,
so.
and food, no doubt. I mean, but not a fat joke. Just saying you think about food a lot because you eat a lot. But 22 ounce can, everyone, she's heavy.
She's a heavy bitch.
It's a heavy can.
Yeah.
It's kind of like boat anchorish at the end.
I'll beat the shit out of you with this thing.
You could try. You would catch an elbow to the side of the face.
It's also like
6.5 inches is what that is. And that is, by most people's standards, pretty good.
I was going to guess 7.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean.
Well, you would. But, so
Same
6.5 inches is really, everyone, kind of like the standard length for a normal length can. Like a non-K can or a non-L can, 6.5 inches
It'll
is like
get you like 5 baffles, you know, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Let's show how the can attaches to the gun. So grab that Mod 0 here. Can you hold some?
Yeah.
So it is a bit archaic, okay, everyone? And you're just going to have to bear with us.
And just so everyone is, the boys and girls at home, we're good, okay?
So this operates on a gate latch system, right? So essentially with...
See this gate? We're going to push it down. And then what do we do, Jake?
You're going to rotate
little
that locking
doily
collar. Yeah.
that rotates along the exterior of the can to the side right here, and she's on.
Yeah. Now
listen.
That's multiple things, but I know what you're getting at.
See that?
And we will address that.
Okay.
We will address it because it is the most shocking thing when you first put this can on a gun is that play that is in the can. Supposedly, and again, another case of I can't get a clear answer on this. Supposedly, this will attach to an A2 flash hider, but I cannot confirm nor deny that. This is Knights' specific flash hider that they ship with the gun.
It would.
And it's very A2-ish.
Yeah, it would, just because of those grooves in the A2 at the near the.
Yeah, all I'm saying is I've read different things.
Okay.
So I'm unclear. Can't confirm, can't deny, probably does, can't confirm or deny, everyone. So one of the coolest things of the NT4 is, look, aesthetically, very, very cool can.
I think it's a cool looking can.
It's a super,
the
super
dimpled
cool
Knights look, like on barrels.
So this corn cob look, which is kind of what everyone calls it. I don't know if you picked up on this, because I actually didn't until someone pointed out to me. It's not actually part of the suppressor.
No, it's welded on.
Yeah, it's the heat
shield. It's like a sheath.
It's just the heat shield. Yeah, like that's all it is. It's just the heat shield. And you can see...
It's like if you're uncircumcised, this is what it would look like. And then you'd pull it back and there'd just be the suppressor under there.
Wouldn't know. Wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know either.
So, anyway...
That use your whole train of thought.
Can we show the... Can we point this at the primary camera? Can you move it out of the way?
Yeah.
I just want to show what the end of it looks like, because you will see where the welds are.
They are.
Yeah, they're pretty apparent.
Yeah, it's basically like every quarter. So right here.
Yeah.
Right here. Right there, and then right here.
Yeah, and then even on the can, or the heat shield of the can itself, you'll see them. They're fairly prominent. Point being, hey, that corn cob thing, that is not actually the suppressor. That's like a sheath for the suppressor.
Yeah, it's like tack welded, like tack, 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 tack. So.
Yeah. The idea is that it's going to create some airflow to help cool it down. It is a can that gets very, very hot very, very quick.
Correct.
It gets very hot very quick. So just know that, right? Again, older can. Retail price is going to be right at $1,500. Now, it's...
Wait, what?
It's steep. It is steep.
I was gonna say 9 to 11.
No, you know, it's like you got to lump it. What does Surefire RC2s go for? You know, I
Like
actually have
8,
no
900.
idea. No, really?
Yeah, they're like 9.
I would have thought more just because of the history and the contract and everything. But
This is $1,500.
MSRP. So they do go for quite a bit. I got it for a smoking deal at $1,400. So that, you know, that'll make you flinch a little when you plug in your credit card number for that $1,400 can. So why would the NT4 win the USMC contract? So here's the deal. We got to talk about what's the military looking for, because what they are looking for is different than what we as civilians frequently are looking for. Their number one goal is not decibel reduction.
No, which is
Right?
what most civilians want, okay?
You want it to be as quiet as you can.
I can jump into this if you want.
Sure.
I'm not saying I'm a subject matter expert, but I've talked to a lot of guys. So, first thing that military wants is first round ignition to be reduced, or signature.
Yes.
So basically you have sitting air in the can. That first round is gonna pop and be a little bit louder.
Yes.
Second round, this is number 2 on their list, needs to be quiet also, and not a lot of ignition. Third, point of aim, point of impact shift. Meaning with the can off or on, your 0 is negligible shift. And repeatable. And fourth is sound suppression. Being civilians, we move number 4 to number 1 and don't give a fuck about the other 3.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
is that about what you're gonna cover?
Yeah, largely, and we'll just kind of like hit a couple points on each one of those. So their number one goal is not decibel reduction. This does meet the 140 decibel requirement for the contract, is my understanding of it. But 140 decibels is not quiet. You're not going to be enjoying yourself.
Nope, you're wearing ear pro.
Yeah, you're for sure wearing ear pro. Especially now, keep in mind this is also running on a 10.5-inch gun, so it is going to be pretty fucking noisy.
I think you're
right?
still wearing ear pro on a full length gun.
But yeah, I think you're probably right. But just know, of course, to get picked up for contracts, it doesn't meet contract requirements. So, of course, it does meet the military sound decibel reduction. Are there more quiet cans? Yes, of course. But nature of the beast. It's a 25-year-old suppressor, everyone. The other one I wrote down is durability. So, one thing Uncle Sam don't want to do is have to keep replacing shit nonstop.
Yep.
So-
And that's what I've heard about these.
Tanks.
Yep.
Yeah, tanks, right? And I mean, just in the weight alone. Think about
Yeah.
it, it's a 22-ounce can, like, beefy can.
Better be beefy and robust,
Yeah.
right?
So it's a very beefy can. That's probably the thing that NT4 is known, I would say, best for, is just the tankness
Yeah,
of it.
ruggedness.
Kind of like a Surefire in that same
100%.
sense, where it's like you can just beat the piss out of it.
Well, and for the SOP mod program, both Surefire and NT4 are clone correct. So that's what they're using at the time.
Right. So durability being a big selling point. You mentioned signature reduction. The can does a good job at signature reduction. So
I will give it that.
yeah, so it's pretty chill on the flash. It is a dedicated 5.56 can. So just so everyone understands, just as a comparison, like a Dead Air Sandman S, right? That's a 30 cal can.
Correct.
Right? So you can run, you know, anything run through 30 cal.
30 cal.
But this is a 5.56 can. Obviously, it's, put this into simple terms, everyone, it's got a smaller hole. Okay, it does. It has a smaller hole, and a smaller hole, for I think most of our perspective, is more desirable, right?
Well, when you get into the suppressor game, a bigger hole might be actually more beneficial.
It depends. Depends what you're trying to do. It's case by case. It is case by case.
Case
But
by
this
case.
has a 5.56 hole, everyone. So it does a pretty good job at mitigating signature. Downrange, you know, we've had cameras and stuff just try to detect downrange signature, and it actually does a better job, frankly, than you would think.
Yeah.
Downrange. So there's that. Next, POI shift, right? So you mentioned that. So obviously, anytime you add weight to the front of your barrel, that's exactly what you're doing. You're adding weight to the front of your barrel, right? And that's going to create a POI shift. POI, for those that don't, maybe not tracking, point of impact, right? So essentially, if you zeroed this gun without the suppressor on, right, and you're just shooting dimes, and then you throw a suppressor on, it's probably going to drop, right? And there's going to be a shift in that because now you got to wait at the end of your gun.
Do you have that number?
2 MOA was the requirement.
Okay.
Yeah, for the contract.
Wow, a
2
whole
MOA.
2 MOA,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. In the 90s,
I know.
mind you.
Yeah, that's very
This is
interesting.
in the 90s. 25 years ago,
Yeah.
it was a 2 MOA can. So you have to think, like, everything. I'm so torn on this because it's like, I'm like, it's not the latest, greatest hot shit. It just got picked up for a contract, so we're talking about it. But the truth is, it's a 25-year-old can. So it's like you have to
acknowledge that.
You have to judge it as a 25-year-old can, but you also have to judge it as what just got picked up for a modern 2022 contract.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know what to do. I'm so conflicted. I'm so conflicted.
It's okay, Jake. It's okay. You're going to be all
I
right.
don't know what to do sometimes. You know?
I think that, like, and you're going to continue to get into this. One, it's just, they just wanted a can that literally you could beat the shit out of. And it's gonna go.
Yeah.
You know.
There's gonna be one more that I'm gonna point out where people will go like, oh, that fucking makes sense. Another reason military would use suppressors is for reduction in concussion.
Correct.
Right. Especially on something like a CQB setup like that. Obviously, you're in a house, a break, or even a flash hider for that matter, especially coming out of a 10.5-inch barrel, pretty miserable.
Yeah.
And you got teammates, and everyone's just you're getting concussed, right? I'm not saying you actually have a concussion, but you are getting concussed. So. Suppressor is really going to eliminate, essentially all of that.
And this changes the tone differently than any other suppressor I've shot.
Yeah, it's thuddish.
It's a thud thwack, the whack,
yeah.
thud thwack. You know, it's an interesting pitch and tone.
Suppressor tones, that's one of those things for those of you that live in California or something, you never shot suppressed weapons, like different suppressors have different tones. And obviously different barrel lengths and different ammos, are going to change some of the harmonics of it. But it does have kind of a deep, thuddy sound. Another one is back pressure. That's something the military cares about for a couple of different reasons. One, wear and tear on the gun, right? So the lower the back pressure the cans that have lower back pressure are going to abuse the gun less.
Correct.
Right? Because it's just going to be less just that bolt just pounding and
gas rings, bolt, everything. Yeah.
That,
gas
right?
block. I mean,
which means longevity of guns.
Correct.
Right? Again, military doesn't like to replace shit unless they have to. So it's like longevity of the guns. The low back pressure thing also ties into the shooter's health. Because look, it's I don't think it's super secret information
right
that
here.
like.
Right.
Yeah, and now imagine being a left-handed shooter. Have fun with that one.
Right here.
Like, that's where I'm at, right? So you're breathing these gases. These toxic gases are not good for you, everyone. So you will see, certain things that pop up in dudes who have run a lot around suppressed, like professionally for 20 years, where it's like they get certain illnesses and
weird cancers
and shit, and it's really unfortunate, and it's it's the nature of the beast. So a lower back pressure can is going to mitigate some of that, right? Not all of it, but some of it. I've been told that the NT4 is a low back pressure can. I don't really get that. That's not really my experience.
It's an average back pressure.
Not really my experience of it, but hey, whatever, But it is also a relatively gassy gun on top of what I think is probably a somewhat gassy can. So here's the other thing that we haven't talked about, that while it may not be what the military is like technically looking for, we know it's what they're looking for, which is the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So think about it. If they have a lot of NT4s in use currently, and we go, it's a proven design, it's a tank, we don't have to swap muzzle devices, we know how our guns respond to it.
Got a track record behind it.
Yeah, why would we want to adopt a new can, re-outfit all of our guns with new muzzle devices for something that we don't know yet? Think about this. They don't even have to field that.
It's a very good point, Jake.
They don't have to field it.
Yeah, literally give them to them and be like, it'll work, go.
They can be like, look, it's
point.
working okay. Maybe it's not the best thing, but it's working okay. But yeah, I mean, here's 26 mil. Just give us a bunch more of the things that we already know are proven.
Are going to work, yeah.
So, I think it was largely a path of least resistance thing for the Marine Corps. It's not like I know that for a fact, but logic can kind of dictate that. Because again, why would you use a 25-year-old technology on modern warfare? You go, well, it does some things well, but one thing it does that's appealing is we ain't got to change nothing, man.
Yeah, and it'll withstand the abuse of all those Marines hitting shit and being Marines.
Yeah.
Which also, the first thing I thought when they won this contract, sidebarred, is, my buddies who are Marines are like, hey, Marines do more with less. We get hand-me-down shit. We get a lot of used shit. I mean, my buddy's M4 that he deployed with was beat to absolute fuck all hell.
Yeah.
And so in my head, I was like, well, typical Marine Corps. Again, not a Marine, never served, so take this for what it's worth. My civilian objective, like, take
Opinion,
on it,
yeah.
is like, well, the Marine Corps was like, we know it works. We're a little too lazy to figure it out. Yes, this is old shit, but Marines do more with less. So, hey, you know what? Let's keep that going and fucking give it to all of them.
And it's kind of cool. I appreciate the sentiment of it.
Yeah.
I would still like to have the latest greatest shit personally, but
I'd like to see maybe 7 other products on rifles, but
yeah, but it's not like it's a bad can or anything. But
No.
so one of the things that you will notice that we kind of alluded to earlier is this.
Jake, I am dying because I've been waiting this whole time for you to talk to me about this.
Yes, so it's
The
very
shimmy.
fascinating. I can't. So here's the deal. There's this lateral play, and when we got this outfitted with a gunsmith that Alex over at Trajectory Arms threw on the muzzle device, and we threw on the can for the first time, and we were all kind of looking at each other like, "Is this okay?
Yeah, I
like,
was
is this okay? Like, I've never run one of these cans because that seems alarming." And I went and looked at other people's videos and content. That is 100% completely normal. When he threw the little like barrel rod down there to check alignment,
Perfect concentricity.
perfect alignment and everything. So it's like there is no issue. Like there's nothing wrong here. It's just strange. It's just odd. You're like, again, I know that in a real world scenario, like this is probably not the sound that's like giving away your position or anything.
It's OCD for me. I'm just
It's
like,
just very odd and strange. So it's like it doesn't create any problems. It's just odd. Like I guess that's my only point, is that it just is a little bit strange. You would think this can would so when I saw it, I thought this can will carbon lock immediately because of how old school the
Rudimentary,
QD system is with the locking collar gate latch thing. I was like, there's no way after a MAC this thing will be carbon locked. To its credit, has not carbon locked once.
No.
After today, and it took a pretty good like beating today, and it was a little snug.
Yeah, you had over 200 rounds through it today.
Yeah, in the ballpark, yeah. But it's like it was a little snug just coming off, but it's like, one, we're also in obviously weird climate conditions, but it has not carbon locked. To its credit, I give it that. Like I give it its props where it deserves it.
There's a point in the pro column.
Yeah, and it has quite a few. It does heat up very fast. That would be, I mean, all suppressors, of course, get hot. This one gets hot very quick. Like, it will be smoking after a mag. Like, after a mag, that thing's kicking off smoke. So, just be aware of that. Is it a problem? No, it's not a problem. It's just an observation, right? That's all it is. Obviously talked about it's very cool looking. That's in the pro category.
Yep.
But I would say this, just to kind of wrap it up. I'm happy I bought it. Part of that reason is because it went on a gun that it deserved to go on.
Right.
Right? It went on a gun where it was like, would I buy that can in normal, like, day-to-day for, like, some modern whatever gun? Probably not, just because there's a lot more modern stuff. But especially on a retro build like that, it is completely at home. So I am glad I bought it. It's a little crazy to me that that's a $1,500 suppressor.
But as we know, we'll pay for night shit. I'll pay for night shit. You'll pay for night shit. People pay for night shit.
I got a lot of love for Knights products. I do enjoy the can. Like I said, I'm glad I bought it. I mean, it's like definitely very expensive. It's very old school, but it does what it does.
And on this, a resto mod.
Proper.
It's like not putting the proper or right muffler on some car you rebuilt. I know fuck all about cars, so take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, but they got, some of them got mufflers. I know
You
that.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Muffler is a real thing.
Muffler.
So anyway, we hope you guys are well. You are looking at the Marine Corps' new suppressor, everyone. So eat your heart out, everyone. Anything else? I think that's
No,
send
it's
people
a
off about their
good looking
day.
suppressor, man.
Yeah. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your week, whatever day this comes out. We hope you're well. Pet your dogs. Don't do drugs. Stay off the streets. Be good.
Damn, that was like a Mr. Rogers sign off right there.
That's what I try to do.
I'd say, hey, you guys do all the drugs you want, have a good time,
Or do that. Yeah.
and don't go to college.